Hey guys, good afternoon or good evening. Welcome to tonight's Q&A session. Hey J-Sky, nice to see you in the chat. I hope you're all doing good and I hope you had a super nice weekend. I was in the fascinating city of Lausanne today and we had super crisp Belgium crisps or fries. So my weekend was cool. I made a new track yesterday. I had some cool experiences yesterday and I went out for drinks. So my weekend was cool. I hope your weekend was nice as well. Some of you guys sent me some questions over. So tonight is not my usual production stream or however you want to call it. Tonight we are going to talk about gear. Let's swap this camera. So, and we want to talk about gear, and some of you guys submitted some of questions that you might have, and that is what I want to talk tonight about. So next week, Wednesday, is another production stream, and I don't know if you can see this guy. I just swapped the camera. So next Wednesday will be about the Squarp Pyramid. It has been a long time ago that I was working with that one, so I thought it's time to give this another try. And yeah, I think we are going to wait. Hey Mark, thanks, nice to see you in the chat. I received your message or I received your question. I will answer on that soon. So tonight I have my whole setup connected. It's not really routed, the MIDI is not routed, but the audio is routed, so I can show you some stuff around. And yeah, I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds before some more guys drop in. Maybe there are some a little late, because I know from some they are going to join us. And I'm gonna play a little track that I did yesterday, so stay tuned a couple of minutes. It's actually a tracker jam that I did yesterday, and I had a very interesting, let's stop it. I had a very interesting discussion yesterday on Instagram. What is a jam or what is not a jam? So yeah, interesting question. I think tracks are not really a jam or whatever. So let's talk about the first question I got. That is from Mark. Mark's in the chat. Hey Mark. And I think your question was, if I'm not wrong, correct me, how I make textures on Digitakt. Is that correct? Hey, Marta, welcome to our little live session. And yeah, greetings to Poland. That is cool. I hope you're good. Hope you had a nice weekend. Welcome to our stream. So I got some questions. And one was from Mark, and he asked me, let me check my mail account first. I think he asked me how to create textures on the Digitakt. So I think my mail software just crashed. So there are different methods how I do textures on the Digitakt. One of my favorite is actually MIDI loopback. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Not sure if I'm going to talk about that right now because it needs some preparation and you need some knowledge about this. Well, it's actually super easy to set up, but MIDI loopback is one of these techniques how I do textures. Another one is, maybe I show that after this. One of my favorite textures is actually scanning through a sample. And I'm going to show you this on a track. Oh my God, there's so much gear lying around to make this stream happen that I need to take care about my feet. So I hope you can see my Digitakt. No, let's swap the cameras first. So I have here a super nice command. So you should see here Digitakt. I hope that it's still crisp. Yeah, it seems so. And I'm gonna turn these guys off. Let's start with this track. This is a kick, so I'm going to load something else up on this track, which will be like a loop or something. So with loop, you can create super nice textures. And let's go into Digitakt sample packs. What is this? I think I resetted my Digitakt not so long ago. And these are tracks, sound packs. Yeah. Let's go into this one. And no, let's go into this one. I have some chord loops. So let's take this one just as an example. And what you do is like, it's just an inspiration. So I think this whole stuff is more or less how to get inspired, right? I'm going to set the start marker in the middle of this sample. So the middle of the sample on Digitakt is always 50. But this is not true, actually. I think, no, sorry, the middle is 60, not 50. And then I make a trick that is 16 tricks long. So this is now playing in a loop, which is, I kind of like this sample, but what we're gonna do is we want to scan through this. So we add some more tricks and set the length of this track to 116 or maybe even 132. And what we could do is we add some retricks, and the retrick, we set the rate to 32. So we get a super fast scan. Hey Dieter, guten Abend, good evening. Cool to see you, Dieter. I hope you had a good weekend. So this is what we have. So we have 16 tricks playing with a retrick with a rate of 32. And the only thing we have to do now is we scan through the sample by modulating the sample start marker with an LFO. And the depth we set to 55. So we set the marker initially to 60. And we are going to move to the left and to the right by turning the depth to 53 or whatever. And then we set the speed to a low value, so the scan happens pretty slow. And let's see what it sounds like. We see that it's still super fast moving. And what we might change is we might change the envelope of the volume. So and now, so this is like, I'm not sure if this sample is the best for it, but we could add some effects now. So let's quickly set up our reverb. So the reverb is already from a different work. It's already super open. And the delay as well. So we increase a little feedback. And now we give this track some reverb and some delay. But maybe this is not really the best example. What are you saying, J-Sky? Since you started with the Digitakt, I wonder if your new gear does what you expected and makes you more creative. I will talk about that in a second. Just let me answer this first question first. So I set the speed to super slow. There we go. So this is one way how I make textures. The LFO possibilities are really endless. So I could add now a second LFO, set the bit reduction to 35, for instance, set the set the second LFO to the bit reduction. Here we go. And then we create like waves that are played on top of our sample. There you have it. That is a second layer on top of the texture. So this is my preferred way of creating textures with the Digitakt. This sample is not really the best for it because there is a chord progression going on. So this might most likely work with samples that play in the same key or some texture sounds or whatever. So I hope your answer is questioned. Oh my God, the answer is questioned. I hope I answered your question mark. So since you started with Digitakt, I wonder if your new gear does what you expected and makes you more creative. That is a very good one. So since I started with Digitakt, I don't know who of you guys follow my development or my progress in music making. I started with Ableton and Push, and I sold my Push. That must be now maybe 2 years ago, and then the lockdown kicked in and I bought my Digitakt. And since I got the Digitakt, I bought new stuff over and over. So I first added the Digitone, and I added the Roland because I saw it at a friend. I added the Pyramid because I saw it in a video somewhere. And all of these guys, so all Octatrack, don't forget the Octatrack, the Novation Peak, the Typhoon. So each of these instruments, they give me a lot of creativity. But my way of implementing these is a little different than you would expect, I guess. So I have a couple of core instruments that are really my base, and that is clearly Digitakt. So whenever you give me this machine, I can create instantly something with that. And all of the other guys I add from time to time, and it's not that I sometimes I don't use these for months. So, for instance, the pyramid. It has been a long time that I was using it, and sometimes I need some new inputs or I need new ways of for my workflow or something. And in that moment, I take one of my pieces and create something new with this. So let's say I have this Polyendtracker, which is now my second core groove box. Let's say it like that, and I'm able to add some pieces to this and get a tiny setup. So, for instance, the Typhoon works super nice with the Polyendtracker. I can sync it, so it's like I have my whole setup, but I most likely use only a couple of these instruments because I have now connected all of this with the MIDI merge and the MIDI through box to my Polyendtracker. No, to the pyramid, which is actually a controller for MIDI stuff. But it is complex, so it I don't want to say it makes it unplayable, but I saw that with my set Dust that I produced in September, October, and my idea was to create music with all of my gear. But it didn't work. It was too complex. And then I decided to focus on one or two things like Digitakt or Polyendtracker for, let's say, a release or a performance. And then I focus on these machines instead of taking all of this. So that said, to answer your question, J-Sky, each of these give me inspiration. One of these machines give me frustration, to be honest, and that is my Octatrack. I still use it as a super expensive submixer right now. But all of the others, they give me a lot of inspiration because you're forced to work with new workflows and you're getting new sounds, new possibilities. So for me, I'm good with these. So yes, I get much more creative by adding more gear. But right now, I stopped buying new gear. There's another question from Marta. What's your thought about Polyendtracker sound quality? I had before Digitakt, in my opinion, sounds much better than much better versus Polyendtracker. Yeah, that is a good question. And in my opinion, not sure if you should compare these because the concept of the Polyendtracker is based on tracker concept. This whole concept is based on the tracker. It starts with the sample storage. The sample storage gives you 133 seconds. That is not much. With Digitakt you have, is it 64 megabyte or something? It's much more. You can use much longer samples. This minimalism concept goes on with the effects that you can put on this, and also the sound quality is kind of rough when you compare it. So sometimes you hear in the first versions of the software from the Polyendtracker, you heard that much more, that there were artifacts in the output of this sound engine. And I think I'm not an expert with the technology that is behind, but I know that, oh, my camera is turned off. But I know that the Polyendtracker concept is actually minimalistic, and they don't want to reach this. Yeah, they don't want to reach this. I don't want to say, or let's say it the other way around. They want to keep this concept at this polyend era. So they put this software and put it into a modern hardware case. So I think this is a nice expression of this. So I'm not sure if I would compare Digitakt Soundquality and Polyendtracker, because also the effects on the Digitakt are, to me, a different world. They have a much better quality in my opinion. Polian added a new algorithm for the reverb, which is cool now. So you get a nice package in a box. But to me, these are two different worlds. So I have no clue what happened to my camera. My camera is now turned off. Hey, Mike. Good afternoon, good evening. That is nice that you join us. My camera is... it's not working, which is not cool. I have no clue why not. So let me quickly check something. Well, everyone who came into our little session, I hope you're good. And I hope you had a nice weekend. So let's check what's going on with my camera. Yeah, there is no camera detected. I go ahead pretty soon. As soon as this camera was... there we go again. Okay. So, that said, the Polyendtracker is one of my favorite pieces right now. And yeah, if you want to know more about this machine, leave me your questions in the chat. There was also another question from somebody. I actually think, was it you, Mike? Or who was it? So let me quickly check my mail account. There was a question. Can the Digitakt make... no, sorry, I was wrong, Mark. This was your question. The other one was not from you. The other one was from Sonderbass. That's a friend of mine from America. He talks German, by the way. This is your question. Can the Digitakt make a long note tone without an interruption or noise break in full length bar? Mark, what do you mean by full length bar? Do you mean a bar that is 64 tricks long? Because Digitakt can obviously do that. So let's turn on a new track. And let's search for a texture sound or so. These are not so good. Let's check. This is a nice one. So let's check if that works. This is an organ playing. So I gonna place one trick. I need to modify this, guys. And set the length to 16 or 64. And set the length of this pattern to 64. And I think this track, yeah, there's something going on with little misconfiguration going on. So there we go. And I don't know if I understood your question right. So you hear that Digitakt can play like notes that are actually up to 64 tricks, and you can tell him to play these notes like infinite, or yeah, then it really plays it infinite. Even you turn this off, like let's set this to infinite and turn this off. Sorry, I'm wrong. This is only if you have this trick playing, let's say, only once, only the first. And then it continues playing. I'm not sure, Mark, if this was your question. If not, tell me the right one. But this would be, the way I would answer your question, right? Hey, Mike, just to answer your entry. Sorry, I'm at work. You have to work Sunday night. That's not so cool, huh? I have to work tomorrow, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm gonna play something that I did yesterday. So if you have more questions, let me know. And by the way, you can use more or less the same techniques then I just showed you on the Digitakt. I do this with the tracker as well. And for instance, there is a pad playing. How is your relation to the Octatrack? Do you think you will stay together? That is a good question. So yeah, you can do similar things by moving around the start marker in a sample. Yeah, that's cool. Good to know, Mark. I hope that works for you. My relation to Octatrack is complicated, I have to tell you. I'm currently looking for another synth, to be honest. Hi, Bernardo. Grüezi. I'm looking for a used synth that is like 10 years old. It's from Access the Virus. Hey, Mike. And I'm seriously considering to selling this guy and getting this synth instead, because I don't use it. Every time I see somebody making cool stuff with this machine, I'm feeling bad because I'm completely not interested in this nerdy stuff. There was a guy doing something with the Octatrack, and he was programming it with a script language. And I thought, wow, that is cool. He's doing cool things with this, but that's too nerdy for me. Let's be honest. It takes so much time that right now I lost interest in this. I'm using it as I just said in the beginning, I'm using this as a super expensive submixer. I dare to tell somebody this. So I have here the Digitone is routed into Digitakt. The Digitakt is routed into Octatrack, input 1 and 2, no, input A, B. And then I have a little Mix 8 mixer for all of my other stuff, like the Polyendtracker and the Pyramid as Roland. They are routed into this mixer. Yeah, the Access Virus Desktop TI. And this mixer is routed into the input CD. This is how I use my Octatrack right now. And I'm really, right now, as I said before, my gear, they wait for their moment. So right now, it's not the moment for the Polyendtracker. I'm working on a full album that is made with the Octatrack, sorry. I'm working on a full album with the Polyendtracker only. This will be like a little community project. You guys can download the project files and stuff. And maybe then the Polyendtracker will come back when I have energy enough to get frustrated again. I have no idea. Right now, this is really out of my scope for now. Hey, Mike, nice to see you. I had no time to answer. How did you cope with all the recabling and setting MIDI and so on with every studio change. That's my ongoing struggle, and I do echo the sentiment on the sound. Elektron output is superior. Yeah, that is a very good question as well. Yeah, that was EasyBot, by the way. He's scripting that. And yeah, really. Yeah, do what you have to do. Buy your thing. I think he's really good with that. So his channel is also very good. So if you don't know EasyBot, you should really check him out. He's a master of Elektron stuff for me. Yeah, back to cabling. So if I don't know, you don't see this right now. So I was out for a trip today, and I came back, and I thought, okay, I need to check my whole setup if that's really working for you guys. So most of my instruments are working, and the cabling is a mess. So right today, I can tell you this was not the case 1 year ago, right? I bought so much stuff during those pandemic situation that I was not able to learn everything. And what comes on top of this is that the more you add to a setup, the more complex it gets. So you have at least three different Kreisläufe, chains. You have the power chain, you have the audio chain, and you have the MIDI chain. And the more you add, the more can go wrong. And especially MIDI is not really my friend. So that is why I struggled using the pyramid, because you have to use a lot of MIDI. Actually, it's just a MIDI controller. And those cables are killing me, to be honest. Because for each stream, for instance, I need to check if the cabling is okay, if the routing is okay. So today my routing is, I'm putting the audio of my setup into the computer with the Zoom H5 interface, right? But sometimes I use a different connection with my interface on my desktop. So each time is different. And I learned the more you do with this, or the more you rebuild your set, the more you learn. And nowadays, I don't want to say I'm a pro with this, but I'm able to set up everything that it's working properly together. For instance, this is not really MIDI routed right now, but you cannot see I have a MIDI merge and a MIDI through box under my keyboard here. And it's made that when I press the play button of my pyramid, normally all of the other machines start playing as well. This is right now not the case because Digitakt is MIDI loop backing, so the MIDI, it doesn't go in. But you see that the Typhoon is going. The Typhoon is not routed. The audio is not hearable because all of my inputs were taken. So I think I need a bigger mixer soon. But that said, audio and recabling is it's part of the game. You have to cope with that. But yeah, it's not the nicest part of everything. Cables are expensive. If you need good cables, they are expensive, and I haven't found a way to organize these in a proper way. So if you could see underneath my instruments, this is just a huge mess up with all the cables. Yeah, JSky, I mean the Access virus. It's the virus T total integration to desktop, or the key, maybe the snow, no, not the snow version, the white version. It's the one that I'm after. I really like the sound of that synth. So Mike, why did you buy an Octatrack? If you ever want to buy one, maybe ask me first if I'm going to sell mine. Hey Thierry, I'm great. Nice to see you in the chat. I hope you're good too. I ate Belgian fries today. They were so good. There's a little shop in Lausanne. If you guys are living in Switzerland and you want to eat original Belgian fries, this store is called Belga, and they have so good fries. I can really tell you. Matt, do you master your official track releases yourself, or do you have someone who is working helping with you? No, I never master my own tracks. But I split these into two different things. So if I put out a track on my social channels, for instance, YouTube, I usually record the session using audio interface, whatever. Sometimes I don't do anything. For instance, last week's video, no, that I uploaded this week, it's not mastered. It's just recorded and that's it. Sometimes I use these tracks for a radio show. These are not official releases, but this radio show consists only of 59 Polian tracks. The show is, by the way, it is broadcasted on Ibiza One, and it's a radio show once a month. It's called Deep Love, hosted by Kiev Love, featuring 59 Polian. I think the next show comes next month, and these tracks sometimes I put them through Ozone, or I have an online service just to get the levels on the same balance, let's say it like that. A different story is official release. So when it comes to Spotify or streaming services, these tracks I never do myself because I produce mostly with headphones. So this is not my producing headphone. This is more for podcasting. But I have not the equipment to judge about the low end of my tracks, for instance. So I have super small speakers. They are even not connected right now. I produce a lot with headphones or mostly with headphones. And I'm of the opinion that with official releases, they will stay for a long while, for a long time on my streaming channels. And a lot of people will hear these tracks on small speakers, like on phones or AirPods or big systems, or in a club maybe, because sometimes even club DJs, they stream. So I'm of the opinion when it comes to official releases, you should let this do by an engineer. I have two of them, or at the moment, yeah, let's say two. And they put a specific flavor on your work. So you really need to trust them, or maybe you should try it out. But I think it's a better way for official releases not to do it yourself, especially you really know what you're doing, and you have the equipment. So I think it's better if you let this do by a professional studio and they have the proper gear, you pay a little bit for it, and then you get mostly tracks back for specific applications. So if my tracks or my engineer, he gives me a track version for Spotify or streaming with a little more headroom, while the club versions, they are maximized, so they don't have so much headroom. So yeah, to answer your question, let's make it short. Official releases I never do myself. The other stuff, YouTube, sometimes I master it myself, but very rarely, to be honest. Yeah, Belgium is the country of fried stuff in general. I think Belgium fries everything except chocolate, and even chocolate, I ate this once. So yeah, um, get Octatracks, guys. Get Octatracks and be happy. So let's play something. So I just wanted to explain that this pad is also modulated with a lot of LFO stuff. And it's similar to the Digitakt, but not so deep than I would usually do that on Digitakt. But what is cool on the Polyendtracker? Hey, and Waffles, yeah. Hey, Giom, I haven't seen you in the chat. You just entered, right? Good afternoon, good evening. Waffles are so good as well, yeah. So, just wanted to say what is cool about the Polyendtracker. It has a nice slice feature. So this track consists maybe of 2 loops I have taken, and you can't see the tracker on the screen, right? And I spliced it up, and I'm using some of these splice snippets to create like this little synth line, for instance. Yeah, and chocolate too. And this is something I really like about this. I would love to see Elektron adding a splice feature on the Digitakt, but they won't because Octatrack has it. So Octatrack has everything you can dream of, and that is exactly the problem at the same time. But Polyend offers this in a very nice way, so you can really easily split up. And you have been quiet in the background. That's a good one. You can easily split up your loops, for instance, and create something new with that. So this second track is also using the same loop sounds. And even the bass is taken from the same loop. I have no clue how I did this, but there were bass notes and other notes in there. Other sounds. I kinda like this. So, yeah, was there anyone else with a question? I don't think so. So I think I'm going to play a little bit of this track because I kinda like this one. So, I think this is another one for my album. And saying album, what is pretty cool about the Polyendtracker, I'm not reselling these, right? So I have no commercial connection to Polyend or something. I just say that the Polyendtracker, you can, because it is based on the tracker software concepts, you can exchange projects just by copying a folder from the SD card and give it to other guys so they can make a remix or something, which is pretty cool because I think I'm going to make this album and give away all of these tracks so that people can learn from this. So there's a little community or a growing community around the Polyendtracker, and people are super thankful if you show them how you did something. So this is something I really have to say is really cool about Polyendtracker. And I think my food is cooking. I mean, I ate so much fries today, but I'm hungry again, so yeah. Yeah, I hope you're good, Jiong. So, what else can I tell you about this stuff? Yeah. I don't have to tell you anything. I'm gonna just play a little of music. But I think, Thierry, you have a release upcoming as well, right? Or am I wrong? I think so, right? I saw there's something coming from you, or was it already released? Let me know. What about the other guys? I guess that most of you in the chat are producers. Otherwise, I'm not sure if you would be interested in the Q&A of myself. But tell me about your releases. I'm super curious. My next release will be... Can I tell you that? It will be in May, so the date is fixed. Tell us how your videos and visuals are done. Top notch. Oh, the videos. I'm lazy with videos. So this video I uploaded a couple of days ago, I think on Friday. I do a lot of video footage with slow-mo. I just like slow-mo. And this video, I used the same video for a track last year. I don't know, I can't remember what it was. It was just an album of my childhood that I was browsing through. But for this video, I have taken an app. I'm inspired by my friend, Johnny Agent Red. Yeah, it's dropping on, that's next week, right? So I remember that right. And the output is just rendered with an app. So I put a couple of filters on that, and that's it. That is everything I did. The only little trick is, you see that in Atlas Castle's video as well. He's using also this green screen technique. And I do that a lot. So so you get a little movement in your videos. I think it's a little boring if you just place it on a white flat desk or so. And you can put a little visual underneath that supports the track maybe. So yeah, I work a lot with those effects apps. I think one is Glitchy and the other one is not Hyperlapse. It's something else. It's like Hyperspective or something. So these are costly. So they cost you something per month, but I only buy the subscription if I know that I'm going to edit some of the videos, and then I cancel the subscription. Otherwise, it's a little expensive. But with these apps, you can do a lot. Yeah, that is how I do my visuals. Yeah. Jerry's new EP is coming on February 4th, and I'm super excited about that. So looking forward to that. So yeah, that is my video footage. And I have a lot of cameras and a lot of gear for this. I'm considering writing a blog post about this topic because people are super interested how you do streaming and stuff. I don't know if you saw this difference, but I added my how to say that? I added my Sony Digicam to my streaming setup, and I think now you can see that a little better. The quality is pretty good, so I have an HDMI cable and stuff, and I think a lot of people are interested, so I think I'm going to make a little blog post about that pretty soon. So yeah, can you see something else? No. Let's just play something around. What you can't do with Polyendtracker is messing around with the sound, something I'm missing from the Digitakt. Yeah, the green screen is really cool. Have you considered video mapping? What is video mapping? I never seen that before. Video mapping. Can you explain what that is? I don't know what video mapping is. I should consider video mapping. I will search it after the stream is ended. Green screen is cool. So you see that here, this little circle here, there. I can add green screen too. So if I want to have more stuff standing around, I could do green screen with this tool as well. It's a super nice, let's turn this off. It's a super nice software. I use instead of OBS, this software is called, what is his name again? Ecamm Live. And you can do green screen super easy, so you can really take away some backgrounds you don't want to see or whatever. So that's really cool. But video mapping, I don't know. No, it's projection on objects using projection on objects using its shapes. It's like transforming the interior or exterior surfaces of an object. I see. It's like you're mapping textures on 3D graphics, right? Yeah. I know. No, I haven't done this yet because I focused. So my whole visual stuff is not really focused on 3D. I think you should, if you want to do that, I think you need to have proper hardware, yeah, and proper software, yeah. I think this will be done with After Effects. Is that true? And I'm not really a fan of After Effects, maybe because I'm just too lazy to learn it. I don't know. And in the past month, I focused more on getting my streaming set up a little more streamlined. I can send you some links. Yeah, that would be nice. I'm currently sparing up for heavy M. You told me about this projector a long time ago. Are you still thinking about sound engineering class? What do you mean, a class? You mean on my website? I don't do a sound engineering class. For myself, I'm still considering that. So this is really planned. To do something like that. It's not decided yet when I'm going to start and what exactly I'm going to do, but it will be something with, it has something to do with audio engineering, either electronic music production, or I'm gonna do some smaller classes. But I'm going to dive deeper into music education for myself. And maybe then I can master my tracks on my own, right? If I did this study or this, this education, I want it, but I want a lot. So it's I really want to do that. I'm going to do that, but there's a lot to clarify with work and income and salary and shit. So I want to be on the safe side, and I need to consider how I can combine it with work and stuff. So I'm going to do that. I'm looking forward to that, but it needs a little. So it needs some time until I'm ready to do it. And there are other projects coming up as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm looking forward to my album release in May. There are other projects coming on the horizon, and I'm super excited about this. So yeah, I'm working right now. I can tell you that as well. I'm working on a Polyendtracker course that you can buy then on my website, maybe in a couple of weeks. So there's a lot of stuff going on, guys. If you have no more questions, guys, I think I'm going to close this super interesting Q&A. There will be more Sunday broadcasts as well, and you can check this on YouTube. The next one is in 2 weeks. I think it's on the 4th of February. Let me lie. But there is a guest. Coming up. It's Gabriel de la Mora from Mexico. And he's one of our label mates from the Petit Victory Collective, where some of you guys in the chat are releasing. And we will have a super cool talk about Gear, his creative process, how he creates tracks. We will also play some of his music. So I'm super excited about this. Save the date. I think it's in 2 weeks. Don't. I hope that is correct. I have not the real. I don't have the date on my mind. And next week, Wednesday, is another live stream. And in this live stream, I will work with a pyramid. So save the date. This will be super interesting. And I'm really looking forward to have a guest in my show. I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice start of your next week. Happy Monday. I have to work again. And I hope to see you soon in the next stream, guys. Enjoy and take care. Bye-bye.